Here we are today and we're deep in the Devon countryside. What a fantastic location. We've actually picked a sunny day in January. How lucky is that? I'm here with some more of my mentees, Mandy and Carl, and we're going to be looking at their new build project. So what was it about this particular part of North Devon that attracted you?
I guess we've got a long history here. You can't really beat it for the coast and the countryside. You know, you've got the estuary there, you've got Croyd, Saunton, Willicombe beaches just the other side of the estuary. Then you've got Exmoor. It's not that far down to Dartmoor either, is it?
No,
and it's just
really close.
It's a beautiful part of the country and still quite undiscovered.
What was here originally?
Well, we had probably a 100-year-old single-storey bungalow full of asbestos.
Oh dear.
Somebody's pride and joy many years ago. It's seen enough years and had to come down. So so that got demolished. Yeah, ready for the new house.
You've gone for a non-traditional build. Now I understand it's a modern method of building rather than non-standard method of building. There is a difference between that, isn't there?
Correct, yeah. Modern methods of construction basically entail far more technology in the way that they're built nowadays, really creating houses which are more airtight. So they're highly insulated, they're very airtight, and then you control the ventilation internally, so you end up with a very comfortable internal space. And it's at no greater cost than you would build a traditional house, really. So you're getting a better product at the end of it.
Sounds good. And energy efficient, I would guess.
Highly energy efficient, yeah. Even as a standard item, without going into the realms of passive house, which is a very high level of insulation to a German standard. They're very cheap and efficient to run, so yeah, it's extremely
so
good.
Very small energy bills going forward.
Yeah. Well, we've got basically it'll be a two-storey house. Downstairs will be our bedrooms and bathrooms, and upstairs will be our living accommodation and kitchen. And we'll have underfloor heating downstairs, but we won't need anything upstairs. We'll have a gas fire up there should we want to just top up, but basically downstairs will be warm, and that warmth will come up through the building
because heat rises.
Then you've got the concrete with the ICF, so the concrete core will warm up, and that will keep your house warm.
Sounds great, and I think that makes sense. You know, if you've got this sort of vista there, then an upside down house, as I like to call them, makes a lot of sense. In fact, it mirrors exactly what I built on a hillside when I did a new build a few years ago. You know, we had the bedrooms on the ground floor and living accommodation to maximise the views. And and looking at this, why wouldn't you do that? So, tell us a bit more about this construction. Is it ICF? Did you say?
It's called ICF, or Insulated Concrete Form. It's basically made of recycled products in the form of polystyrene and recycled plastic, in a form which basically clips together. And you basically put reinforcing steel inside of that, and then you pour liquid concrete internally. So they're a very, very strong, very, very strong method of building. So, yeah.
So you just put the foundations down as normal on a concrete base?
You do, yes. They have to be done to very small tolerances, so to get them to be accurate. But with the contractors nowadays that install this, they're extremely good at doing it, and they can build it to that standard. And it's designed as a self-build product as well. So it's not something that just builders can do. It's very much aimed at the self-build market. But it produces an incredibly good product at the end of it. So,
Because this is going to be your own house, isn't it?
It will be, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
That's right.
So that's a bit of a departure, because normally I train people to do commercially minded projects in so much as that they're looking to making money. But I thought this was so interesting because of the build and the area and everything else that I thought it was worth exploring that. in a commercial build like this, you'd be using development finance. So you'd pay for the site, and then you'd get development finance to build it. But in this case, what we're doing is a self-build mortgage for you, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. We acquired the site with our own finances, and now we're going through to get a self-build mortgage, and obviously that's quite specialist in its own right. It's not something that you just walk in off the street and get in any building society, and they are specialist products. Some of them, they're all stage release mortgages. Some of them are released in advance, some of them are released in arrears. So, but yeah, it's all stage payments. As you build, then you get your money.
And that works for both lender and borrower, because you don't need the whole amount of money sitting in your bank account, paying interest on it. So if you just take it in chunks and you use it, then that cuts down your interest costs during the build phase anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, very efficient.
Working on numbers, so what price did you get the site for?
We paid 145 for it.
Okay.
Last year we completed about March last year.
Okay.
So.
And since March, so in most of 2019 was taken up with what, getting planning permission?
Yeah, we put in planning application in May, and we got the permission about the end of June.
Okay.
And then from that we went on to get building control, so building regs, drawings and plans done up, and that was submitted, and we got building regs through in about October. And in that in-between period from the time we got planning permission to getting building regs in, we actually took down the existing structure.
Okay, great. So that used that time
Yeah.
wisely, and planning went through fairly smoothly by the sound of it.
It went through within the prescribed time. We had a very good architect who worked with the planning officer.
Good.
And it helped to actually meet the planning officer on site, because I think he had a few issues with it to start with, because obviously it's a modern looking house, and he had a few concerns which the architect and ourselves helped to talk him through, and he came round in the end and we got our planning permission, so that was a great relief. So
I could imagine, yeah. So I'm guessing he was a bit concerned about how it fits in with the with the look of the road.
Yeah,
he didn't want it being some sort of eyesore.
No, but sort of highlighting a few points which Mandy did very well, just to try and sort of say, well, there is that type of roof in this road, and there, so just by having a conversation with him made a huge difference to actually getting the outcome, luckily. So, but he was a hard man to tie down. So,
well, I think with anyone in that sort of position of authority, it's about not being confrontational,
absolutely,
but trying to align yourself with them and put their fears to rest.
Yep.
Because any sort of confrontation, there's only one winner, isn't there? And it ain't you.
Yeah.
Have you got any idea on build costs?
That's approximately 250,000.
Okay.
But it is, it's an approximation at this point in time, because obviously until we get out to the ground, there are still, anomalies that can occur.
Always.
For that. So yeah, but we've got a healthy contingency anyway. So
that's good.
So that's what we're aiming for.
Okay. And what about a gross development value? What are you looking at on that?
It's always difficult with the GDV when you've got an individual property that's unique to find comparable sales in this area. We had a sort of a valuation by a local estate agent last year, and they looked at it and they said conservatively about 475, but we've got properties next door and around us that have sold in the sixes, so we're quite confident that it will be well worth it.
You should build some good equity into it. Great.
Yeah.
And that'd be a great outcome.
Yeah.
And also a magnificent experience.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you must be looking forward to that.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Well, we're hoping that we'll take this forward and use it on developments in the future, so this will be a sort of springboard and a learning curve, I guess, as well.
There you go. So cut your teeth on your own one, and then employ what you learn on this, and do that commercially on other sites.
Yeah. To varying degrees as well. So we would look at other different types of projects as well, obviously from commercial to full residential. So that's the options available.
And have you done much in property before now?
Extensions, conversions, renovations, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
we've done.
this will be our first new build.
Yes.
Well, you know, it's a progression, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're watertight in what, about 8 weeks?
Yes, that's the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the plan.
And how long from there until it's finished?
We're hoping to be finished and in July.
Brilliant.
So 7 months start to finish.
Just in time for a summer barbecue then?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
There'll be lots of
Yeah.
those going on, I think.
I can imagine, yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the progress.
Yes.